What's up again there, guys? Brian here at 3TR, here to bring you a much more subtle episode of People's Questions, episode 241. Sorry about the overcast and odd lighting. We got quite a lot of questions this time around, so we're certainly going to have a much longer episode, so jumping right into them. The first question comes from TANOOKI-PLAYER, and you want to know, have I read any of the Hellboy or RPRD comics, and if so, what are my thoughts on them? No, I've actually not read any or either of those, so I can't really say much on them. Next question comes from Matt Cruz. You want to know, have I played the game Far Cry 3? Nope, I've never played Far Cry 3 or any of the Far Cries. That's never been a game or a franchise I've ever really been interested in, so can't really say what to say there. Next question comes from Santiago SCARPINO. You want to know, would I recommend Alien Isolation to any fan of the original Alien film? Yes, absolutely. I personally hated the game because it was too much like the first Alien movie. Me and my family are very much divided. There's a big division in the Alien franchise. You either are a fan of Alien and don't like Aliens, or you like Aliens and you don't like Alien, because they're two completely different style of film. Me and my family have always been more of an Aliens fan, so the fact that Alien Isolation captures the feeling of the first Alien so well kind of makes it a game I really didn't want to play to begin with. So if you really like the first Alien movie, absolutely pick it up. If you're someone like me that didn't like it, then I would avoid it. Next question comes from, I always have a hard time with this one, Dara Drive CJ, I'm sorry. And you want to know, what other franchises would I most like to see a Mario Maker style game based on them? Not really sure how to answer that because I've never played Mario Maker ever. So I can't really think of any games I would like to see in that style because I'm not really too familiar with it. So that's all I can say on the matter. Next question comes from, I've given up on trying to figure out how to say this, so I'm just going to call you Mr. Wong. I'm sorry. And you want to know, do I like Grand Theft Auto games, and have I liked Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5? Yeah, I guess I like some Grand Theft Auto games. I don't like all of them. In terms of 4 and 5, I didn't get a chance to play 4. But I did play 5, and I really did like that. I even posted a review for that, which you can check up on my channel. But, yeah, they're okay. Next question comes from Michael BILAND, and you want to know, out of all of the Assassin's Creed games that I've played, which one was my favorite? Definitely Black Flag, without question, mostly because of the Navy combat, which was a carryover from Assassin's Creed 3, which in my opinion was really the only good thing from that game. So the fact that they made an entire game with that element being so prominent, I thought was just a major plus. But I would say that Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is probably a good second, but without question, Black Flag has always been my favorite. And that actually kind of goes into the next question coming from Brandon Williams. And you want to know, who is my favorite Assassin's Creed playable character in the main title of games? And would I use he or she in a versus matchup? My favorite would have to be Ezio. Because he was probably the first character I got to play as. And I think that out of all of the main protagonist characters, I think he has the most character development because, at least for me, I've gone through 2.5 games with him. I went through Assassin's Creed 2. I went through Brotherhood. I couldn't really finish Revelations. So I've spent more time with Ezio, and so he's always kind of been the one character that I feel closest to. In terms of using him in a versus matchup, that's a little bit difficulty because who do you put him up against? Obviously, the obvious answer would be, well, put him up against one of the other assassins. Which I guess if enough people wanted to see that, you could do that. You could do a matchup between two assassins from two different times. That's definitely possible. Perhaps when I run out of ideas for a specific franchise, I might start throwing in Assassin's Creed, but from now, I still have a good number of matchups I want to do before I start using Assassin's Creed characters. And that goes into the next question. I'm just going to call you Ivan G. I'm sorry, I've given up on trying to figure out your last name or how to pronounce it. But you want to know, if you could pick any video game character to be my best friend, but have their worst enemy try to kill me, and them every single day, who would I pick to be my best friend? Probably, I guess Sonic. Because Sonic's the fastest thing alive. So if Dr. Eggman was really trying to kill me, I think I'd feel pretty secure knowing that Sonic's got my back. Because with his speed, he can get any of his friends out of any jams. And heck, if you actually watch the really good animated series, heck, Dr. Eggman was always trying to kill all his friends, and Sonic always got the job done. So, yeah, I would definitely pick Sonic the Hedgehog. Next question comes from JDS Force 96, and you want to know, am I willing to give Red Dead Redemption 2 a try when it releases? No. I couldn't get past 2 hours of Red Dead Redemption. I do not know why so many people like that game. I understand it's really popular. A lot of people really, really like it. It's just another one of those games that I tried it for 2 hours. It ended up being probably the most boring open world game I've ever played. I know that I'm sorry. I don't mean to insult it, but being honest, I couldn't stand it. I stopped playing. I gave up. I moved on to the next game. I never thought about it again. Never even thought about even trying it again. So I don't see a reason to even give Red Dead Redemption 2 a try because I didn't like the first one at all. So no. And the last question comes from John Aylin, and you want to know, what is the best movie or game soundtrack that I've heard? Final Fantasy X, hands down. With probably the sequel 10-2 as a good follow-up. The music in 10 is just absolutely incredible. I mean, some of that music is so relaxing. It is so engaging that, heck, I have the soundtrack and I listen to it in my car when I'm driving to and from work. So, I mean, that tells you something when you're willing to listen to a video game soundtrack in your car in the middle of public. I mean, that says something. And with that, those are all the questions that you guys sent for this particular episode. I'd like to thank all of you guys for making this episode possible. If you guys have any more questions you'd like me to answer in next week's episode 242, be sure to type them in the comments down below, but make sure you get them into me before next Wednesday, before I start filming this episode. And like always, I want to thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.